Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. You could have been just about any place else at this hour. I'm just kidding. But let me see who was here first. Fancy, fancy. Thank you so much for being here first. I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. Okay. Don't forget, vote, 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 vote. If you have not voted yet, I believe the voting closes on the 9th of October. So do make sure you vote. Um, and as per usual, go to the community post and you'll find the link is right there for you. Anytime you're ready to vote, the link is there. Hello, Compton Caligal, Antoinette Kennedy, Carol Lund, Fancy Fancy. Let's see, Jacqueline Rippy, Cookies and Cream, Peace and Joy. Legs is here, and just about anybody else who what 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 49 months. Why, hello to you too, Church Nelly. Glad we caught you on a pee break. Again, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. So Kelly McGee Zafin praises Meghan Sussex. They just can't work that out, can they? For her friendship, especially after her son's death. The Duchess of Sussex, longtime friend, calls her the most nurturing, fun loving human. And gosh, did I read somewhere they've been friends for like, was that? Well, anyway, maybe it was this article, but let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. So it says Megan's longtime. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. Megan's longtime friend, Kelly McGee Zafin. I always call her Kelly Zafin McGee. Kelly McGee Zafin is shouting out their friendship on social media. During the question and answer with followers on her Instagram stories on September the 28th, the Alliance of Moms co-founder has asked about her friendship was asked about her friendship with the Duchess of Sussex. She didn't hesitate to share her admiration for Meghan, naming her as one of her favorite accounts to follow, as well as one of her favorite people. I've actually known her for almost 20 years. That's what she said, almost 20 years. She even came to me, I mean, to me. What is my first language? She even came to my wedding 15 years ago, and she's been the most amazing, nurturing, fun loving human. She's been by my side, especially since George died, and I cherish our friendship very much, she added. Now, George, of course, is her son who passed away some time ago. And oh my goodness, every time I look at those pictures of her son, it just breaks my heart because he seems like he was just the sweetest little kid. Um, well, anyway, um, as you can see, they are in that photo. That was the night that Megan was and Kelly were at the Children's Hospital. So um, I'm just assuming that hospital may have had something to do with George, um, and maybe something that they have in common among the many other things in their friendship. So um, let me see here. Anyway, those are the stories that she shared on her Instagram. That right there. Um, Let me see. She's been by my side, especially since George died, and I cherish her friendship very much. And so the one on the left side, it says, "Hi, have some new. Hi, I have some new friends. Ask me anything. What are your favorite accounts to follow? And that's when she answered the question. I'm only going to say five today, but I have so many. Maybe I'll post often this question, but for today, um, it says Zoe Grossman. Her her talent is astonishing. The happy place for all the things: food, drinks, fashion, reading. Megan, endlessly inspired by her. And what is that other one there? Lean. Um, I'm not sure how to say that. Anyway, for her journey and bravery. And Zoe Winkler Reynes for her parenting and heart and humor. So those are the accounts that she adores. Anyway, Zafin and her husband Julian lost their son in 2022 to the wow, COVID and viral meningitis when he was just 9. I wondered about that. Um, and I think this is like the first time I've ever seen an explanation, but wow, that is unfortunate. Very, very sad. Heartbreaking. In the years since, Meghan has supported her friend in numerous ways. She and Prince Harry donated $5,000 to a GoFundMe set up in George's honor in the names of their two children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. In another nod to Meghan, McGee Zafin shared a photo in which she's wearing a hat that reads, "Let us remain calm." Get it? Let us remain calm, like romaine lettuce. Anyway, the Duchess of Sussex previously wore the same style cap after it was revealed that a second season of With Love Megan was coming to Netflix. Yeah, so you can see she's wearing the cap on the other photo there. Let me see. Okay. Anyway, this was in People magazine. Last October, the Duchess of Sussex made a surprise appearance. Ah, there we go. That's what they're talking about right there. At the Children's Hospital Los Angeles 2024 Gala. Walking the green carpet by McGee Zafin's side in support of the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles and the extraordinary care they provided to George twin sister Lily since she was a toddler. Okay. All right. So that is the connection there. Meghan and Harry also attended the George Zafin tennis tournament in Los Angeles last fall, an event honoring McGee Zafin's late son and benefiting the Alliance for Children's Rights. Following the event, McGee Zafin praised the couple on Instagram, writing, "Harry and Meghan, you have been such a guiding light for our family, not just in the way that you have shown up in our friendship, but how you have shown up through the incredible work of the Archwell Foundation does every day. And I'm in awe of the commitment to community and to friendship." She added, "Extra special day to happy 40th birthday H, may this trip around the sun be the best yet." Oh, that is sweet. Let's see what else do. Oh, I got another photo. There we go. You may remember this outing some time ago. I want to say that was 2023 or was that 22? But yeah, I believe they were having lunch that day. Let's see. Back in April of 2024, McGee Zafin penned a personal essay for People, which she opened up about her devastating aftermath of her son's death. It is impossible to know how to survive this type of grief, she wrote, even more impossible is the ability to find all the right tools that will help you manage each day. I definitely do not have all the answers. However, one of the ways she found to survive it, McGee Zafin wrote, is to lean on friends. That's a reminder for all of us. We need to lean on our friendships. Do not be afraid to ask for help. Do not be afraid to ask for help. Remember, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. I've tried that. I've tried to choose family, but no, just kidding. I always say our friends and our friends that are family, our friends and family and friends that are, oh, well, anyway, you know what I mean by that. I've learned not to, let me see. She says, I have learned not one single human can carry it all for us. So allowing others in is imperative, she wrote. Try not to expect people to understand it all. Even the people who share a similar loss, not everyone will understand. That is the lonely part. I am afraid, so be brave in sharing. Okay, so that was the call out for friendship with Megan today, which was very sweet. Here is a couple of other photos. They have the coolest T-shirts. The organization that she belongs to, they have the coolest T-shirts. There's this one, and then I like the other one that said something community. But yeah, so love like a mother. Huh, a little double entendre, I think, right? Love like a mother. And let me tell you about the, is that the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the mom up above? Okay. Anyway, that was a post on the As Ever official today, and a little thing called love. Oh, let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. That is a song. No wonder that sounded familiar to me. Who sings that song? Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. Um, okay, that is a song by Jewel Atkins. Ah, I knew that sounded familiar. Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the moon up above and a thing called love. Let me tell you about the stars in the sky and the girls and the guy and the way they could kiss on a night like this. Wow. Just think, how have we gone from simple little songs like that to, you know, to what we have today? The songs today, well, I mean, they don't leave much to the imagination. Matter of fact, they don't even wait for you to fall in love. It's like the songs nowadays, you don't fall in love, you fall into the bed, right? You fall into bed, not fall in love. I mean, he's singing about it, obviously. Let me tell you about the birds and the bees. Well, we all know what that means, the birds and the bees. But now we're describing what to do and how to do it, and um, don't forget to drop those dollars, and I need a bag, and woo. I mean, some of the lyrics nowadays, they don't leave much to the imagination. And I see, when I look into your eyes, it's very plain to see that it's all time you learned about the facts of life starting from A to Z, right? Now, see, nothing so suggestive here. I mean, you if you know, right? Oh well. Oh well. I'm sounding like an old person. Let me move on. So, Marjan was also a thing today. I don't know why that sounds like someone's name, Marjan. I feel like I went to high school with someone named Marjan. But in this case, we're talking about a game. See there? Those are the pieces. It's called Mahjong. And Megan is an avid Mahjong player. Now, they say that you usually play this game in groups of four. So, let me see here. This is from With Love, Megan, episode 6. I think it's season 2, episode 6. But there you can see Tracy Robbins, right? And Megan has her back to the camera. But yeah, so anyway, Megan actually posted an image today. Let me go back to that, by the way. This one right here. So let me share the like 10-second video with you. It's only 10 seconds. So I'm going to share that with you. Where is that at here? Now, if there is any hidden meaning behind this, I don't know. But this is what our Duchess felt like sharing today. And so, since she shared it with me, I'm going to share it with you. And then you decide what it means. Yeah, I don't know if that's copyright or not. So, let me stop that right away. But yeah, um, it seems like, let me see here. I see a glass of wine. Okay. Looks like somebody was in the mood for red today. And I'm going to guess that that is Tracy on the right side there because she usually plays with Tracy. And also, Tracy has posted pictures from their Mahjong game. So, am I saying it right? Mahjong? All right. Anyway, so that is what was posted today. There was no explanation, just that. Some of these posts are deliberately ambiguous, thus allowing the viewer to glean from it whatever he or she may. Eh, okay. And that's that. And if you take a look here, the Mahjong game, this was, remember when Megan posted that picture of her, what do you call it? Life board, memory board, inspiration board, goals, whatever it is. She posted that there. You can see the little bulletin board background. But yeah, this is something that was included. So I think everything that was important to Megan was likely pinned to, well, what she felt like sharing with us was pinned to that board. And this is one of the images right here. So Megan, friend Tracy Robbins shares a tweet. Moments from their day posting. Nothing makes me happier than making Mahjong with my girls and winning twice. They always give the best advice, and I leave feeling loved and ready for the week. Now, this is an old post. I kind of went and looked for some things to add to the post that Megan shared. And, well, apparently this one was shared by Tracy. And there on the right side, you can see something else that, see there, Robbins for the double win. So she did win twice that game. Okay. All right. Now, you may remember Meghan has spoken on her With Love Meghan show about how much she treasures playing Mahjong with her close friends is clearly a tradition full of laughter, love, and a little friendly competition. Mahjong is a traditional Chinese tile-based game that dates back to the is it Ging dynasty? Is it Zing? Sing? Ging? I mean I know it's a Q, but how do you say that? King dynasty? Oh well. It's all about strategy, memory, and a little bit of luck. Typically played by four people, the goal is to build melds and a winning hand, kind of like a mix between rummy and a puzzle. Uh huh. But more than the game itself, it's about connection, gathering around a table, sharing laughs, telling stories, which makes it so special. No wonder Megan loves it so much. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Um, is there an app on the phone? You can't do this with an app on the phone. I don't know if I'm interested. Well, no, it seems interesting though. Okay. This spot of bother, I'm just going to share this with you. Uh, this made an impression on me. Let me know what you think about it. It's very short, you guys. It's a very short video.
The prospects of peace. Will it be successful? You know,
who would have an interest in wrecking?
Who could you possibly be thinking of, Tom? I can't imagine anyone whose name begins with W who might have an interest in reconciliation.
Okay, the sound kind of goes up and down, but they're having a bit of a laugh. And he says, who do you think would be interested in wrecking their, you know, the reconciliation? And then the one with the glasses, what's his name? He says, oh, I don't know. I can't think of anybody whose name starts with a W. Meaning, of course, they seem to believe what a lot of people believe, and that is that William, which is what I believe, is that William is the source of these briefs. And it's unfortunate because the tabloids have just taken it and run with it. They have taken it and run with it. Okay, I'm not bothered by any of that stuff because you could expect that. What bothers me is where we left off yesterday with this, and that is um, that Charles was perplexed. I don't like that perplexed thing. I do not like that. That Charles was perplexed. Um, and that they just left it like that because it makes me feel like whatever positive connection was made from that meeting, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth because the whole time I'm like, God, I hope Charles is not just using Harry to strike out against William for being so lazy, and the fact that we know that Charles has allowed certain briefings to take place about William and Kate. I believe that that was fueled by Clarence House making comment about their many vacations, not many as in small, but multiple, should I say, vacations, and also the fact that they have missed several key engagements like the VJ Day. And so it just so happens that every September, Harry has several things lined up. Like, for instance, Well Child, that is a constant. And let's see, he also, gosh, did he go to the UN this year? Why am I blanking out on that? Did he go to New York? I'm trying to remember. No, he didn't go to New York. Everything was in the UK, right? Yeah, everything was. Oh, he went to that radio station, and gosh, and whatever else he did, he donated the money and such. So Harry lives 5,000 miles away. It makes sense that in September, it's a busy month for them, and he tries to squeeze as much as he can into one road trip, right? And so just so happens that he managed to make a date to connect with his father. But we're what, 9 months into the year? And so all of this hostility that Charles has for William has been building up. Not that they were talking in the first place, but by this time, William and Kate had sufficiently missed enough engagements, gone on enough vacations. Well, and this is the way I'm painting this picture, I'm going to frame it like this. Since Harry is on his way, why don't I make a date to see Harry and also piss off William, right? And allow Harry's visit to appear as a threat to William's authority. I mean, William is going to be king. There's no doubt about that. But that William is painfully jealous of Harry in the first place. And Harry gets all this great press, but it's just like a horrible cliffhanger with a soap opera. They always leave a bitter taste in your mouth. And this time, the bitterness is Charles is perplexed. There's no reason why this has to end on the sour note that Charles is perplexed, but it has been allowed to flourish. And that is not coming from Kensington Palace. That is from Clarence House. If it's not from Clarence House, then they should say otherwise. They should make a statement or anything or brief something to contradict that. But no, they just left it the way it is. I don't like that because it's bad enough. I mean, how about the whoever said that thing about Harry is acting like his what was it? Coffee and something is like the Treaty of Versailles. It's so snarky and so insulting. And the whole goal that they have is to make it seem like Harry cannot read the room, that Harry has misunderstood Charles' intentions, hence the word perplex. I don't like it. I am very much bothered by that. I'm more than bothered. I'm irritated with the use of the word perplexed, as though Charles doesn't get Harry, as though Harry has cultivated a misunderstanding between himself and his father. It seems like a stitch up. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like another one of those stitch ups. I feel like it was a setup. I really do. I'm getting that feeling that the whole thing on Charles' part was a setup. They did not have to leave it like this. Let's see. The palace are spoilers. They don't want Harry to be happy. If they are miserable, they have to spoil everything Harry and Meghan do. Harry and Meghan are happy and they can't have it. Thank you, Legs. I mean, that makes about as much sense as anything I could think of. I'm literally trying to understand what is the point of the perplexed statement. What does that mean? You're perplexed about what? I mean, that just really is gnawing at me. The whole thing about being perplexed. And I keep saying perplexed. What does that mean? I mean, right there, Charles is perplexed by Harry's claim men in gray suits are sabotaging his reconciliation with his father. And that's the other thing. The way that they say men in gray suits, it's almost as though they're saying that Harry is being irrational. It's almost like saying little gray men. As it's almost like saying that, well, everything was going okay until the Martians, until the aliens landed here on Earth and abducted me. They make it seem like it's his imagination, as though Clarence House is not seeing what we're seeing. And that is the fact that there is someone angling toward wrecking the reconciliation. Why is Clarence House pretending like that's not happening? That's what bothers me, is that they're pretending like there is no attempt at all to spoil things. And you know what? As you just said, Leg, spoiler. That's the perfect word, spoiler. It is being a spoiler. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know why all day today I'm thinking to myself, huh? Perplexed. Perplexed means that you don't get why the other person, or listen, you just don't get the other person. That's what it means. You don't get it. I don't know. I'm a little bit perplexed. What are you perplexed about? You know your son William hates you. You know your son William cannot wait for you to go down into that storm cellar over at the St. George Chapel, so you can go down in the cellar with your mom, your dad, your grandparents, those gin-soaked ashes of Margaret's. Everybody knows he cannot wait for you to go. He is literally picking up the phone, hoping that they say, Your Majesty. That's what William is waiting for. He's waiting for someone to say, Your Majesty. And you are taking the side of the person who would gladly put you in mothballs if he thought he could have his way. And you're taking his side. William is a dreadful human being. He treats his father like trash, and he always has. No matter what Charles is guilty of, Harry has always been very respectful to him, even with the book Spare, when Harry should have dragged that old sour. Oh, well, let me stop because I was about to say something. When Harry really should have dragged him to filth, he did not. He was quite charitable to his father. And yet, the person who would choosing my words carefully, you're siding with William, who has publicly contradicted you. I just do not understand why they are allowing this to linger. This should not they should say something more constructive than perplexed. The hell are you perplexed about? Classic Charlie Windsor. This is a classic Charles Windsor, very much in line with Charles III's way of doing things. Indecisive, somewhat out of touch, and never, ever reading the room. Let me see here. Church Nelly, thank you so much. I'm going to put that link at the top of the chat. Yeah, but I am more than slightly frustrated by that. It's once again, you really can never trust King Charles. You couldn't trust Prince Charles. You cannot trust King Charles. Charles III used that meeting to look receptive for reconciliation, only to make Harry appear to be untrustworthy and being the leak. Thank you, Barbara Richardson. I couldn't have put it better. Yeah, they're using Harry. They are literally using him. And they're blaming that Clive person. But I feel like Charles is in it from the very start. This does not pass the smell test. I do not like it. It's shady. It seems very shady to me. Oh, I'm sorry, Helen G. What happened? I was absolutely disgusted by some of the squatties and their comments about Prince Harry meeting his father. I have got to say, some comments are, oh, okay. What is that thing I've always said? You should never be more angry than the person who is directly affected. Meaning that if anybody's going to go there, it should be Harry. That is his father. And whatever value he has in a relationship with his father, I don't think it's fair to question that. I don't think that's fair. I mean, you're entitled to your feelings, of course, but I think we go too far. I really think we go too far. Charles is not the first father who will let down his children, and he won't be the last father to let down his children. Now, I could think of some really petty reasons why I believe this was the right thing for Harry to do, to reach out to his father. Some very petty reasons. They're so petty, I'm going to keep them to myself. I can only say, let your imagination run wild. But I feel as though whatever strategic purpose there is for some of the decisions the Sussexes have made, if you want to support them, then you have to stand behind some of the choices that they make, because we're just not going to understand everything. They can't put it all out in the public what the purposes of certain things are. But everything happens for a reason. I'm always amazed that the Royal Rota, the royal reporters, so-called royal experts, they all speak with such authority about things to do with the Sussexes, including their income, their friendships, their connections, their future. Like, for instance, it won't last 2 years. I can see this is going to end in tears and divorce court and all that kind of stuff. They know too much. Today, there's a guy that's a psychologist or something to do with mental health. And he's also a YouTuber. I've never seen him before in my life. However, I had the misfortune of running into him. And of course, I removed him from my watch history because I do not want the algorithm pushing this person in your direction. I do not want the algorithm to ever recommend this person to me again. So I'm always very careful to remove unwanted videos from my watch history. It helps, trust me. When you remove it, it doesn't keep popping up on you. If it do, just remove it again. But anyway, this person was trying to say all of these things to do with Harry's judgment and how wrong he was. He said that little clever thing about coffee and a sandwich compared to the Treaty of Versailles. And by the way, that was clever. Whoever said that, that was clever. But as he's saying these things, he is turning through the pages of the Daily Mail. He's turning through the pages of the Daily Mail. And I'm just like, is this brown person possibly related to Professor Tim Wilson? While you're thumbing through those pages, do know that Harry is taking these people to court. While you're thumbing through the pages of the Sun, don't forget, Harry has taken these people to court. And you are quoting these articles that are telling us how Harry felt, what Harry said, what happened in that room. And I'm just like, you're supposed to have all these credentials and you don't recognize your own bias? How idiotic for this person to turn the pages of a tabloid and accept the story in the tabloid as gospel, as the truth. Yes, Harry said this. Yes, Harry felt that. Are you serious? I just don't know how they do that or why they do that. But then I thought about it. I was speaking to someone earlier and I thought about it. Because a person has all of this education, it doesn't exactly make them smart. It just means they have credentials. Case in point, there are still medical doctors that believe Black people have a higher tolerance for pain. Black people have thicker skin. Black people have less nerve endings. Black people don't bleed as much. These are medical doctors. They are people of medical science, and they still believe that physically Black people do not have the same needs as a white person. So I guess it stands to reason that someone who's a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever this person was, it just makes sense that they would turn through the pages of a tabloid and believe the absolute worst about someone they never met. They're quoting situations that never happened, but it's in the Daily Mail, so it must be true. And I'm just like, what school did you go to? The only reference is the Daily Mail and the Sun. And this is what he was quoting to explain how irrational Harry was. One of the things he said is that Harry doesn't understand that Charles does not need him in his life. Really? This is based on the article that he's reading in the paper. However, if that same person realized that the royal family is not a traditional household, it's not a traditional family. There's very little that compares other than the fact of a birth order. But otherwise, most families, you do not have to walk according to rank. You do not have to bow and curtsy to your relatives. Your birth is not a issue of the Constitution. It's not mentioned in the Burke's peerage, right? I don't think most of us will have our birth recorded in the Burke's peerage or Debrett's or whatever that other one is. I mean, Harry's first name is practically Prince. For all intent and purposes, Harry's first name is Prince. He's always going to be Prince Harry. I was just like, this is unbelievable. You are literally turning the pages of a tabloid. And as an American, I'm sorry if this is insulting, but over here, a tabloid is a tabloid and a newspaper is a newspaper. Even if it is conservative, there's a difference between the two. However, as the days go by, we have received more and more reporters from, guess where? The UK. And they have turned some of our most traditional newspapers into a tabloid. Oh boy. What are you going to do? I mean, what can you do? What can you say? It is an establishment stitch up. Charles cannot be trusted. Charles cannot be trusted. And you know, I don't want to wish anything bad on anybody. I really don't. However, if Charles understands anything about his family, he better hope that he's not in a position where he's unable to execute his role as king. He better hope that he's not alive and unable to make decisions, because enters William. And the same way that they took the queen out of Windsor Castle and bundled her over to Sandringham because she dared meet with the Sussex family, they were moving the queen around like she was on a chess game. The queen wanted to come back to London or to Windsor. She wanted to die in Balmoral. And what happened? They wouldn't let her come home. I promise you. She didn't want to. She was up there past. I know this because the queen did everything according to her annual schedule. And her schedule was to be back in London or Windsor before that certain time. But nope, she was stuck up there in Balmoral. She had no agency toward the end. And that may be the same thing that Charles goes through with William. And as bad as Charles was with his mother, the man who went and foraged mushrooms while his mother lay dying, imagine William. Toward the end, for Charles, William is probably going to go skiing. That's what's going to happen. William is going to go skiing, And of course, Rebecca English is going to come up with a reasonable explanation why William had to go skiing in France rather than being there by his father's side. Yep, she'll come up with an explanation, and everybody else in Royal Rota will sign on to it. Yeah, she's going to start wringing those little grubby, chunky hands of hers together. And before you know it, she'll come up with what is supposed to be a reasonable explanation for everything. As a matter of fact, she'll say, well, William happened to be riding down the street. And when our eyes met, even though he wasn't expecting me to be there, I know that he was asking me if it was okay to go skiing while his father was near the end, just like she did when when people were saying William didn't go and see Kate at the hospital. She said, "Well, I happen to have an appointment nearby. She will find an excuse for him, no matter how much mental gymnastics it takes to make it seem true. She'll think of something. She always does." uh anyway, Meghan had the right idea. When everything else was going on, she was back in Montecito in her garden, minding her business. And I hope the next time we see a picture like this, I hope Harry will be there with her back in Montecito in the garden, minding his business, because that family just ain't ready. That family is not ready. By the way, I combined the two of these. I decided that, yeah, a little rustic setting would be appropriate. Pretty cool, huh? Little cut and paste. Like this one right here. A little cut and paste. It's what I do to relax myself when people are perplexed. Yeah, when people are perplexed, I need some escape. Oh, you know what? That's right. But I don't think that Queen Elizabeth, well, Princess Elizabeth, according to the reports, they said that she did not understand how gravely ill he was. And I could believe that. I could believe that. Also, they said that the king himself wasn't aware of how gravely ill he was. Um, if the reports are correct, he didn't know that they took one of his lungs out or whatever. Anyway, I think they kind of kept him in the dark about a lot of stuff, the queen's father. And so when she went on vacation, um, I'm guessing that they really wanted her to enjoy herself before she, you know, was made queen. So I'm thinking that they really wanted to send her away, but I don't know. Lex says William might do the Catherine Parr to Charles III. Look her up. Oh, okay. Catherine Parr. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. All right. I'm gonna read a little bit about her later. Catherine Parr. I found her though. The Secret Life of Catherine Parr. Huh. Okay. All right. Kate, Catherine, Kate. She even spells her name with a C. Thank you, Lex. Okay, so of course, there was an article from, you guessed, Feminagra. Okay, Feminagra. And what say you, Feminagra? Well, Feminagra says Buckingham Palace says it feels saddened and perplexed by Prince Harry's claim that aides sabotaged this reconciliation with King Charles. But the question remains, who is really doing this sabotaging? Let me ask you all a question, because I have not seen this in print. Did Harry say the men in gray suits, or is someone saying that Harry said the men in gray suits? Is there anywhere, any statement where Harry said men in gray suits? Because I feel as though someone made that up. I don't know where the term men in gray suits came from with Harry. I know that that was a Princess Diana saying, right? But is there any evidence that Prince Harry said the men in gray suits, or are they putting words in his mouth? Because if that is the case, that makes this that much more diabolical and that much more sinister. I do not know where that came from. So, where did the phrase men in gray suits and sabotage come from? Let's see. Lex says Harry didn't say it. His spokesman rather, alluded to the sources. They are putting words in his mouth. So, are you saying that not Harry nor his spokesperson said men in gray suits? In particular, that is important because, as I was saying earlier, they're using the term men in gray suits as if there is a air of what is the word I'm looking for? Paranoia, as though Harry is paranoid. You know how they always say that someone is paranoid about little green men and aliens and flying saucers? They're using the term men in gray suits in that vein, as though Harry has some unsubstantiated paranoia, some unsubstantiated concern about courtiers in their little gray suits whispering against him. Now, I felt as though Harry was insinuating, or whoever was speaking for him, that Kensington Palace was responsible for this. I do not know where the idea that Clarence House or Clive Allerton, where did that come from? I thought when I left off hearing about this that it was to do with Kensington Palace. So, is this something that has been orchestrated by Kensington Palace, by the Royal Rota, to throw the blame at Clarence House? I think this is so important to establish where did the term little gray man, or the gray man in suits, where did that come from where Harry is concerned? Was that something from Harry's people, or was that something that was made up by the Rhoda as a way to make Harry sound like he's paranoid and unreasonable? I don't know where that came from. I don't think Harry said the men in gray suits. They are definitely putting words in his mouth. It was not part of his statement. Okay. Okay. That's what I'm trying to establish. Oh, okay. So Tom Sykes alluded to William and Clive Allerton. Then to give William cover, they started saying men in gray suits. That's what I was trying to get to. That is what I'm trying to get to. And at this point, there is nothing else that Harry can say. There is nothing else that his representatives can say, because anything that is said at this point is only going to make a bad situation worse. One statement should have been sufficient, and they took that one statement and turned it into the men in gray suits. Sometimes you just, even with the best of intentions, you just cannot win these things. Even with the best of intentions, you're just not going to win. This is a stitch up. They knew exactly what they were doing. They seemed to have answers prepared for every possible scenario. Public sentiment like Harry and Charles making peace. So some is trying to turn the tide against Harry. Well, thank you, Hazel Jones. Well, when you say some, don't you really mean William? Because it's only in William's interest that anybody else, because of course, whatever's in William's best or worst interest is in their best interest, right? So blaming Clive Allerton, am I saying that right? Allerton, blaming him, he's not going to deny it, because one or two things is happening. Number one, he's probably in cahoots with Kensington Palace. Or the other one, number two, is why say anything when you can just keep your mouth shut and have everybody think that you are tough and should not be toyed with. So it makes him seem like he's more sinister than he really is. And you know how they say, would you rather be loved or respected? Or is it, would you rather be loved or feared? Oh, I can't remember how that goes. But anyway, would you rather be feared or oh, I can't think of it. Oh well. It's a stitch up, you guys. A stitch up. Stitched up. They set him up. Everything was going too well. The shock of seeing Harry being Harry, you know, being fun-loving Harry, the old Harry, which is not old, it's current. It's the same Harry that he's always been. Okay, this is to chase Harry away. Willie cannot take anyone being happy. That sickening dweeb, Alderton, is the mole leaking out of Clarence house. That has been going on since the Queen's, since, I'm sorry, not since the Queen, since the funeral plans leaked. Yes. Yeah. Can't trust Clive. And the thing is, whatever he does, it's not like his job is in jeopardy. The only thing that puts their jobs in jeopardy is if you overstep the mark, let's say cash for honors, and then you go away, and then in about a year or two, you come back. They always come back. None of them ever go away permanently. It is just a band-aid. It is just a for show. Just like what's his name? Jason Knopf. How many times has he supposedly gone away? They may change his job title, but he's a constant. So Buckingham Palace says they feel saddened and perplexed by Prince Harry's claim that aides are sabotaging his reconciliation with King Charles. But questions remain, who is really doing the sabotaging? Recent reporting of the Duke's view of the tone of the meeting is categorically false. The quotes attributed to him are pure invention, fed one can only assume by sources intent on sabotaging any reconciliation between father and son. And that is from Prince Harry's spokesperson. Now, according to the Times, the palace has been left saddened and perplexed by Prince Harry's latest claim that the institution is sabotaging his relationship with his father, the king. A royal source said, the reality is that senior aides have been working behind the scenes to improve what is a delicate but important private family relationship. Now, that is a quote from the palace. The palace is left, oh God, anyway. Palace briefings against Harry. The royals have long painted Harry as the leaker and oh yeah, and isn't that classic? Always accuse someone else of being guilty of what you're doing. Anyway, the royals have long painted Harry as the leaker when that is not true. It was palace aides who fed the press details of the Clarence House meeting, from the official visit narrative to the hug, the gift, and even family photograph. Harry only spoke when forced to set the record straight. The hypocrisy is glaring. Charles' office insists Harry must stay quiet because he cannot be trusted. At the same time, palace staff feeds press details and then act outraged when caught. The goal is clear. Since Harry's so his story can be rewritten. Oh God, I was about to say that like Barbara Walters. So his can be rewritten. I'm sorry, I'm sounding like Barbara Walters. The wall is where Swilin's Harry, so his story can be rewritten on where worms or rewritten on their terms. Oh my God, that was tough. For some reason, I started channeling Barbara Walters. The WASP and the briefing wars. Reporters like Tom Sykes have suggested Clive Alderton, Charles' private secretary, is the WASP. Harry described in Spare. Alderton has a history of briefing against Harry and may be positioning himself for a role in William's future court. The Rota press can't keep its story straight. One day, blame falls on Charles' aides. The next, on Harry himself. In reality, the leaks point to a deeper struggle, courtiers caught between Charles and William, each camp jostling for power in a fractured court. Media shields Charles and blames Harry. The coverage of the latest clash tells its own story. Outlets from GB News, to the Times framed the king as saddened and perplexed, painting Charles as the wounded father while recasting Harry as the problem. Page 6 repeated palace talking points, calling the royal family saddened and perplexed. The Daily Mirror echoed the same script, insisting Charles felt frustrated by Harry's remarks. UK media paints Charles as saddened while casting Harry as the problem, ignoring palace leaks fueling the feud. This is the media playbook. When the palace aides leak, reporters treat the information as fact. When Harry corrects the record, then they frame him as combative and untrustworthy. The spin is consistent. Charles is victim, Harry the aggressor. But the record shows that the leaks didn't come from Harry's office. They came from inside the palace walls. The calls are coming from inside the house. Don't they understand? The calls are coming from inside the house. Hello? Is this the Daily Mail? Senior Royal here. Hello. I said Senior Royal. Anyway, Charles knows this game. Charles claims to be perplexed is absurd. In the 1990s, he employed Mark Bolan, an aide infamous for planting stories to rehabilitate Camilla at Harry's expense. For Charles to act shocked now that his household still leaks insults the public's intelligence. The sabotage isn't Harry speaking up. The palace using same tired playbook, leak, brief, blame Harry, and repeat. Leak, brief, blame Harry, and repeat. The only surprise is that anyone pretends to believe their outrage. Well, you know what? Look at it like this. Harry did what he could do, and now it is up to Charles. And there's always the possibility that in the future, someone will set the record straight. Yes, someone will set the record straight. But for now, things have spun out of control, which is to be expected. And, well, there's just nothing that can be done about it. It really isn't. But God knows what's in our hearts. And Harry's heart was in the right place, trying to make something out of the relationship with his father. And that his father's household is out of control as Williams. There's so many other things going on, so much bigger than this nonsense. And all I could hope for is that one day the public will wise up to this distraction from things like the economy and, of course, the cost of living, loss of freedom of speech, housing shortages. Hopefully the public will wise up. And don't even get me started with healthcare. The lack of access for so many people. And the same thing is happening here in the U.S. In the U.S., they're so busy trying to make everyone hate each other, turning one group against the next, that people are not paying attention to what's really happening, which, of course, is the prices are going up. Hospitals are closing, but we are um, unaware because we're too busy fighting with each other. So, I guess for now it is, unless it's really up to Charles. All of this is really up to Charles. Charles is king. And if he cannot make sense out of it, if he cannot take control of his household, there's no one else who can do it. There's someone who is likely to do it for him. And that, of course, is William. And at some point, William is going to hijack his household the same way he did with his mother. What that is, Charles did with Queen Elizabeth. And that is just a fact. I mean, people are quoted as saying that William has already taken over the monarchy. People are saying that. And who are they quoting? Kensington Palace. They're really overstating William's importance at this time. You know how they say two things can be true at the same time? Not when it comes to William being absent and unavailable for work, and William having taken over the throne. I mean, is he there or is he not? Okay. Yeah, he tried. He tried. Whatever happens, you cannot say he did not try. As Harry said about his book, his conscience is clear. Out of all the things that came out recently, my favorite is when Harry said his conscience is clear. That I loved. I didn't want him to take it back or change it or explain it in any way. Let it stand the way it is. His conscience is clear. He hasn't done anything wrong. Oh, you mean those people that vote against their own interests? Like the people in the rural states in Alabama, Mississippi that vote against their own interests? You know, the poorest states are the ones that actually get more out of the federal government than what they put into it. If we had a Brexit where all of the blue states decided to separate their economy from the red states, who do you think would suffer the most? The red states would suffer because they bring the least amount of money to the table. The blue states are generally the economic engines of the United States. William and Catherine set to make a huge Royal Australian tour announced after invitation from Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. Well, you guys, never a dull moment. There's bound to be some great material there, and I cannot wait. The jokes will write themselves. All I need is to see William and Kate on vacation. I am here for it. I'm sorry, on a royal tour. I am here for it. I mean, Will and Kate, what could possibly go wrong? Everything. See there? Albanese had a visit with Charles, and even though he's a Republican, Albanese, and he wants to have an Australian elected head of state, he is showing great consideration to Charles by making this invitation for a royal visit. And then there's these two. Prince Andrew and Fergie are no longer allowed at Sandringham for Christmas. You know what? Good. You know, he said the most bizarre thing to those people at Sandringham. What do you got? Why are you all out here? You mean to tell me you've been here all day just and I'm just like, as old as you are, you know that people queue or line up or arrive to watch the family walk to church for Christmas. That happens every year. So why ask a stupid question like that? I mean, you ain't even supposed to be here and you asking stupid questions? No wonder people don't like you. But you know what? This picture of them, they look so shady. They look so shady. Oh my God, they look shady. Now, you guys won't believe this, but guess what? I'm done. Good night. Thank you very much, everyone. I told you about an hour. So, hour and 22 minutes, not bad. But yeah, we'll pick it up tomorrow, okay? Love you guys. Have a great night. Don't forget to vote for our Duchess. Take a look at the top of the chat, and there is a link. You go to that link, and that is where you can make your vote, right? All right. Okay. I'll see you guys next time. Good night, moderators.